So I had the opportunity recently to talk to some teenagers, and I was challenging them about their relationship with their friends and how they talk and what they say, and then their ability to listen to their friends and see who's helping the situation and see who is hurting or not helping the situation. And so I wrote this down on a poster, and they got to read it. And it says some people, well, they just got to say something. And then some people have something to say. And so the question that I asked them a lot of questions, like, which one are you? Are you the person who you just got to say something? It's out of context, doesn't make any sense, kind of awkward, doesn't fit the conversation, but you just got to say something, right? Or were they the kind of person who has something to say? And there's a world of difference, and we got to talk about that. It was really great conversation. I asked them other questions like, do you know somebody like this, someone who's just got to say something, and then somebody, when they speak, you say, that person's got something to say. I asked them if they understood the difference between the two statements before we got started. What is the difference between the two statements? And I asked them, and they gave me some really good responses to that. And I asked them, what happens when this first guy, the guy who's just got to say something, he's just going to say something. What happens when he speaks? And what's it like? How do people respond when that person who just got to say something, they just say whatever's on their mind, like that's a strength or something, which it's not, just to say what you think. Some people act like they're proud of that. They ought to be embarrassed and ashamed about that. And I asked, what happens when that second guy speaks? When that second person speaks and it seems like there's a all the light bulb comes on for a lot of people when that second person who has something to say, when they speak. I asked them if they know somebody who fits into these categories. And then I gave them an assignment. I gave them an assignment as they're hanging out with their friends and their teachers and their coaches and their parents, just hanging out with people, to see if they could see if they could spot that person. Person number one, who just got to say something, doesn't help, but they said something. And see if they could spot that second person, which is the person that when they speak, you go, wow, he's got something to say. And the reason you say that is because it helps the situation. And so the next day I got to talk to them again, and they said, yeah, they were laughing about some of the people that they know that fit into category one. You know, that person's just got to say something. And so I asked them, has this helped you? Has talking about this helped you? And they all said, they said, yeah, it did. And then I asked them, probably the greatest question about this. I asked them, I said, do you know what's the greatest question I could ask you? I would ask you 7 or 8 different questions about this statement here, that some people have got to say something and some people have got something to say. I said, what's the greatest question I could ask you about this? And it was quiet for a minute, and then one of the girls up close to me on the front row, she said, which one am I? And I said, yeah, that's the greatest question you could ask, is which one of these am I? Am I that person who adds to and helps the conversation, or am I that one that's just saying something it doesn't help, and in fact it actually hurts the situation and hurts people? So I looked up a few verses to share with you, and James 1:9 says we're to be quick to listen and slow to speak. Proverbs 2:11 and 12 says discretion and understanding are going to deliver you from perverted speech. So the Bible has a lot to say about how we talk and why and when and what happens when we do. Colossians 4 and verse 6 says, let your speech be gracious. Isn't that nice? Isn't it nice to be around someone whose speech is gracious? And then Titus chapter 2 and verse 7 and 8 says, "Be a model of good works in your teaching. Show integrity, dignity, and sound speech." There it is. Sound speech. "So that your opponent will not have anything bad to say about you." So the Bible teaches a lot about speech, and it has a lot to say about how we act, and that what we say and what we do are congruent, right? They match. There's no contradiction in how we act our life and the things that we say, and that's our goal as followers of Jesus. Lastly, probably the classic verse on this is Ephesians 4 and verse 29. It says, "Don't let corrupting talk." Boy, do we hear a lot of corrosive language these days. "Don't let corrupting talk come out of your mouth, only that which is good for building up and giving grace to those who hear you." I'll tell you what, God will use a person who walks with integrity and their speech and their lifestyle match, and you're giving grace to those around you.